I have returned. Devon Dudley. Devon Dudley, who's now the latest wrestling star, legend, to have a YouTube channel, podcast, whatever the case. He has very high production values. Basically, his channel is like Maven's, very good quality, very good production values. I don't know how they're able to use footage, but whatever. But Devon Dudley, I posted a video of I think last week, as of this recording, where The Rock had some very strong words after Hulk Hogan's passing, and Devon Dudley is in the news because he's going at these crackers. This is a black channel. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Devon Dudley has some strong words for Hulk Hogan. Now, the Hulkster, like Puff Daddy at a party, touched many people over his life. And Hogan, obviously, he as far as a wrestler, he came up in the territory days. And, he saw Memphis, he saw, Japan, World Wrestling Federation. Obviously, he had his huge run, WWF, WCW. He had his time in TNA, coming back to World Wrestling Entertainment, so on and so forth. And then he kicked the bucket. Now, Devon Dudley is someone who, as you should know, most of his career, and he's most well known for being one half of the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. A tag team that actually drew money. A tag team that was over. Great faces, even better heels. But Devon finally in the TNA days, I want to say it was 2011, is late 2010, 2011. That's when the Dudleys finally split up and they got their singles run. Obviously, Bubba Ray became Bully Ray. He had a great heel run. There was a time when the best heel in wrestling was Bully Ray. It was either him or Mark Henry for a time. And Devon, he had a very good face run where he was the TNA, I want to say it was a TV champion, And he had a very good run. It kind of surprised me how over he was in TNA as a single. The Impact Zone marks really loved Devon. And a lot of Devon's push as a singles solid mid-carder was because of Hulk Hogan. Now, Devon Dudley. When speaking on Hogan, he has many different views and strong opinions. Now, let's start out with his opinion of Hogan and his impact on his career. He says, there were two separate episodes where Hulk Hogan had saved my career. The one was for TNA and the TV title with Robbie E. Oh, Robbie E., the great Jersey Shore parody. Devon says, because at that time, TNA didn't believe that Devon can go on his own and do what he had to do. But Hulk Hogan kept saying in the creative meetings, Devon, he looks great. He's taken off all the weight. He's basically gotten his in-ring performance looking great. And his promos have gotten even better. Devon, Dudley Boys, one of the greatest tag teams ever. And a lot of it is because they covered a lot of the bases that you need. They were both good talkers. They both knew how to get over, both good workers, both good sellers, both good bumpers, great timing, things like that. Now, he goes on. He says, he says Hogan was in the creative meeting saying, why aren't we doing anything with Devon? When I got to work, I remember Earl Hebner. Oh, dirty Earl Hebner. Oh, Bret Hart just perked up. He says, I remember Earl Hebner and Brian Hebner telling me, you're going over, kid. I go, yeah, right. That's going to change. And they said, no, you're going over. Hogan wants it that way. It's going to be that way. He really believes in you. On Hulk Hogan congratulating him when he won the TV title as a singles wrestler in TNA. He says, I remember one of the first people that came to me after I won the title was Hogan, hugging me, saying, congratulations, brother. You deserve it. And that meant a lot to me. On the second time that Hulk Hogan helped him, he said, we basically couldn't come to an agreement on the contract. So I decided to walk. I remember Hogan was disappointed in the decision because he made it publicly known. He went on Twitter and basically said, I don't see why we let a guy like Devon Dudley go. I remember this. I actually do remember Hogan tweeting this. It surprised me Hogan was tweeting on behalf of someone else getting a contract publicly. I do remember this. He says, why are we letting a guy like Devon go? With the experience and knowledge that he has, we need a guy like Devon in TNA. He goes on, because of his voice concerned, it led to um, Devon gaining a rejuvenated run in his career, and his most famous position outside of WWE was in the villainous stable of Aces and Eights. Oh my God. I got to bring back the worst storylines series. Aces and Eights is in there. Such an easy angle to do, and they ruined it time after time after time. Oh, Garrett Bischoff. Oh no. D'Lo Brown. The D'Lo Brown reveal when he takes, well, I don't know, he took his hoodie off and then he looks at the camera and it zooms in. It's like, you're revealing D'Lo Brown as a mastermind of a wrestling stable in like what, 2013? What is this shit? Anyway, now to the heavy hitting part. Devon in this interview is asked about Hulk Hogan's racism controversy. Oh, where's my drink? Oh, where's my damn drink? Hold on. Tastes just like Brooke. Oh my God. Whew. All right. So on Hogan being a bigot, he says, I didn't know how I was going to react when I saw Hogan again after the tape came out of him saying the things he said. Devon says, all I knew is I was hurt. I was extremely disappointed, and I just couldn't imagine somebody who I looked up to could say these things. You know, that's the amazing thing about me. Like, there's an amazing thing about fans. I just couldn't imagine that somebody I like would say these type things. What you mean? You surprise a white man in America would talk in this fashion? Oh, please. Come on, Devon. Get the table. Anyway, he says, it was only until I saw him later on where he pulled me aside and he let me know, Devon, I'm sorry. That's not me. No, Hogan, that was you. He said, that wasn't me. You know, it's just like a white man to get caught red-handed and say, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was OJ. It was OJ. Oh, geez. He says, Devon, that's not me. That wasn't me. I know I was wrong for saying it. Okay. I know I was wrong for saying it, Hogan said to Devon, and I should have never said it. I just want the world to be able to forgive me. Did I tell him I didn't like what he said? Yes, Devon says. Did I tell him he disappointed me? Absolutely I did. I made my feelings known. I made Hogan stare at every gash mark in my forehead. I look just like New Jack. Then Devon goes on and he talks about forgiving Hogan through his own faith. Devon says, just like so many of us, I mess up just like the next man do. And I ask for forgiveness. From a biblical standpoint, the Bible does read, you need to forgive your brother and your sister. Because if you don't, then the day will come up to those pearly gates. He will not forgive us. In no way, shape, or form am I condoning what was said, especially being an African American man. But I can't call myself a Christian if I'm not abiding by what the Bible says. I can't sit here and say that I can hold a complete grudge over the man. Okay, but the Bible, see, I understand what he's saying, but the Bible also does say there are certain people you should just get away from. You know, but I understand what he's saying. So that's Devon's comments on Hulk Hogan. It's like a bittersweet reminiscing on Hogan because, like I read, you know, Devon Dudley, he finally got his chance to be a singles wrestler. And you know, I don't care what any wrestler says. Any wrestler could be in a tag team, a stable. Every wrestler wants to be a single and get that singles run. So he appreciates Hogan because he finally got that singles run and it worked successfully for him. Hogan helped him with his contract, as I read. But then Hogan, you know, he did what he did, said what he said. So, you know, it's bittersweet memories as far as Devon Dudley goes with Hulk Hogan. And then, you know, also, you know, Devon, he grew up on Hogan. He was a Hulkamaniac, like many individuals were at certain points. You know, many people, when it comes to wrestling in the last, you know, I don't know, 40, 45 years, many people grew up on Hogan. You may have seen him in Memphis or whatever case. You may have seen him as a heel, you know, when he wrestled Andre the first time at Shea Stadium. Some people grew up on Hogan in his, his monumental Hulkamania, WrestleMania era. Some people first time seeing Hogan was NWO. Some people's first time might have seen him when he came back in '02 and him and The Rock. And now to me it's funny. It's kind of funny if you're so young. The first time you saw Hogan is like the Shawn Michaels match. Oh, Jesus Christ! The Heartbreak Kid lays down for absolutely nobody. Or imagine the first time you saw Hogan is, who's this old guy who's like the GM of TNA Impact? That's funny. Imagine the first time you saw Hogan, you're so young, the first time is when he was in TNA. Like, who was this guy who walked slow? Anyway, who has a lace front in the back? Hogan was wearing hair extensions. He just couldn't take the balding. Anyway, Devon Dudley, very passionate in his reminiscing of the Hulkster. Leave your comments, like the video, share this video. If you want to support the channel, if you enjoy my commentary, you can donate to the Cash App. It's XDN Online, or the Venmo is XDN Online. I'm up out of here, and that is it.